In this short film, we look at the TSSA Trade Union's Community Organising project that goes under the title of Together for Transport. TSSA, the Transport Salaried Staffs Association, is an independent trade union with a long history operating principally in the railway industry. In March 2010, TSSA set up a community organising team, initially as a 2-year project. But why has TSSA now decided to embrace community organising? Let's ask Manuel Cortez, TSSA's General Secretary.
The scale of the cuts that the government is planning to introduce will leave no ordinary people in this country unscathed. It is very important that unions are seen to be on the side of ordinary people. What we're trying to do with our community organising team is to team up with the passengers that are going to suffer the brunt of the cuts in public transport and tell them we are on your side and we want to work with you to make things better, not just now, but to deliver a better society for all in the future.
But the question then, surely, has to be how does community organising fit in with a trade union approach to organising workers?
I mean, I think in terms of individual campaigns, they reinforce each other. So a community campaign without trade union support over a ticket office isn't going to be as strong as one where there's a trade union campaign at the same time, and vice versa. But I think from our point of view, the one thing that we're really beginning to learn is that when our members get involved in community organising, play a role in their community, they learn skills, organising skills that they bring back into the workplace. So it's not as if these two things are entirely separate, because all of our members live in communities, participate in the communities, and the two things can reinforce in a way that's very exciting.
But what has TSSA's Together for Transport community organising project been doing? One of our first campaigns was around the Bombardier train builders in Derby. The government decided to award the highly lucrative Thameslink train building contract to Siemens of Germany, which led to Britain's last train builder, Bombardier, declaring 1,400 job losses. The decision was made without regard to the wider impact on Derby, where the plant is one of the major employers, and without regard to the supply chain to the plant, putting at risk as many as 10,000 other jobs. TSSA was one of the unions recognised by Bombardier, but Together for Transport became very active, building a community alliance both to support the union's industrial efforts and to bring added influence to bear on the government.
It had mixed results. You know, if you look at it in terms of what did it do to Derby, well, it definitely unified it. It definitely, united Derby's, communities into an alliance that strengthened them, and strengthened them collectively. So a lot of people have come out of that process with a greater awareness of the benefits of collective organisation around a campaign like this. The government, the first thing they did was they conceded that the process by which Bombardier had lost its main contract, which was going to lead to so many jobs, had been flawed, and that they were going to reevaluate that and reassess that in the future. And they've also promised subsequently to send extra bits of business in the way of Bombardier's plant in Derby, which will not completely but partially make up for the loss of the contract that they suffered last summer.
In another highly visible campaign, Together for Transport worked in alliance with other groups to campaign against massive hikes in fares on the national railways. The government intended to allow the train operators to increase regulated train fares by an average of RPI inflation plus 3%, an average of 8% at the time.
TSSA had done a lot of research which showed that fares were going to be going up drastically, and it was year on years fares rises over a significant period of time. There's a lot of public anger, and we saw an opportunity to actually get Together for Transport and the trade union movement on the same side as passengers, and actually have a pop at the government and try to push them back on the issue of fares. It evolved from a coalition of groups that came together, single issue groups, environmental groups, including Climate Rush, the Campaign for Better Transport, a single issue group called Bring Back British Rail, the TSSA, and our Together for Transport community organising unit. The premise was that we wanted to tap into quite large-scale public anger with a series of actions and stunts and online campaigning that could actually reach out to commuters and people, I guess, that were involved in rail users groups as well. So people that already, felt passionate about, their kind of daily commute and a number of issues around that, and get them on board with the campaign. The government actually did take a small step in the right direction, and that was to basically capitulate and to not increase fares quite as much. And I think that was directly because of the political pressure we were able to put on the government.
In a third area, Together for Transport has been working with the TSSA's national organising team around attempts by Transport for London to outsource the London Taxi and Private Hire Office. One intended result of the privatisation was job cuts amongst the very staff who inspect and audit taxi drivers and private hire firms, leading to a reduction in the number of inspections that could take place. The only result of these cuts would have been to threaten public safety, and particularly that of women using unlicensed cabs, when TfL's own website reports 143 sexual assaults in unlicensed cabs in 2009-10 alone. Working alongside the black cab trade associations, TSSA was able to stop TfL's plans.
By creating that single movement, we were able to create enough pressure and leverage to force Transport for London right at the last minute to conduct, to carry out a U-turn and basically to backtrack on that proposal.
There's strength in numbers, as any trade union knows from its collective actions. But community organising means that the union enhances the community, and the community groups enhance the union, because people and groups come at the issue from different perspectives, and so are representative of different elements within a community, and are brought together on the issue, like over rail fares, or public safety, or plant closures. But there's a degree of humility required here, because for the relationship to last means that all parties have to be committed, and not just in it for what they can get at that moment. That word relationship keeps coming up, because that is at the heart of all community organising. Fundamentally, on all parties, because often success is only really achieved through partnership with others. So what's in it for the union movement? Well, what is in it for the union movement is regaining that connection with the local communities, which in many cases have been lost for various reasons. That's what's in it for the union movement, and that's certainly what's in it for the communities, as we all work together to fight against what this government is bringing in, which is destroying our communities and our society.